Hi everybody, good morning and welcome to another episode of the MoneyGarden. And today we're going to cover the 6 steps to financial security. Now I'm not going to go into too much detail into every single one of the steps. In the following episodes, I'm going to take each step and drill down a little bit more into detail. But essentially, these are the overall 6 steps that is highly recommended, or any financial advisor, financial planner, or in general any type of financial education literacy will probably recommend that if one person addresses these 6 particular steps, then you are more likely or highly likely to actually achieve success, more importantly achieve financial security. So let's go over the 6 steps. The 6 steps to financial security is: number 1, cash flow. Number 2, debt management. Number 3, emergency fund. Number 4, proper protection. Number 5, build wealth. And number 6, it's preserving the wealth you built. So now I'm just going to address a couple of points on each of these steps. So number 1, cash flow. What about cash flow? Cash flow, essentially here the goal is increasing cash flow. Every single person has a cash flow. Even if they don't have anything left at the end of the month, that might be a negative cash flow, but you do have a cash flow. So cash flow, essentially in simple terms, it's really just your income, money that comes in, and your expenses, that money that goes out, and then what's left at the end of the day. And the intention is always to increase this cash flow, right? Whatever is left, whatever the savings are. So how do we increase cash flow? We increase cash flow by really 3 ways. 1 is understanding your income and how can we increase income. You can always find a way to find a second job, to find a part-time job, to find a better job, to add additional income, add another stream of income to your current income, etc. So there's always should be some other ways how we can increase income. Number 2 is how we can decrease expenses. Where can we cut out extra expenses? And then number 3 is to really do both, right? So increasing income, decreasing expenses will ultimately result in an increased cash flow. Number 2, managing your debt. It's very, very important. 85% of Americans today have credit card debt. And oftentimes it's like crippling them almost, because every single month what they try to do is they're not even thinking about saving, they're not thinking about reducing expenses, they're not thinking about overall plan. All they're thinking about, every single extra money that comes in is just throw it at that debt. And they're not even thinking about, okay, which credit card should I be paying first? Should I be paying attention to the interest rate? Should I be paying attention to the balance on each of those cards? Should there be a strategy, a step-by-step strategy that I follow to pay off this debt as soon as possible? But they're just spending. So understanding your debt, and then having a really good strategy to pay off the debt, so basically reduce and eliminate the debt, is really the key here in terms of managing your debt. So with debt management, the goal should always be reduce and eliminate your debt. Number 3, emergency fund. Really here the key word is build. Build an emergency fund. And even when you think that there's no way you can save anything, trust me, there's always a way. However little, even if it's $10, $20 a month, you can build an emergency fund. Because why? Well, life happens. And if we don't have an emergency fund, how do we pay for those emergencies? Really, your car breaks down, something happens, right? The refrigerator breaks down, then how do we pay for those things? Well, we're gonna reach for the credit card, and that puts us back into the vicious circle of that. So it's super important that we build an emergency fund. And what's more important here, you guys, it's not even so much the amount of money every month that you're gonna be able to set aside to build an emergency fund, but it's more the habit. Everything, our life entirely is a big compilation of the habits that we do. So I guarantee, I promise you that if you took the time to analyze your habits every single day, what are the things that you do, that it will be a direct representation of your life today. So it's building the habit. It's like a muscle. It's super, super important. So when I work with my clients on working on setting up a really good financial plan, building an emergency fund is super, super important. And we always start, even if it's $10, $15 a month, $20, I don't care how little it is, but building an emergency fund is super important. And then over time, you can always increase that. Proper protection, well, just like with everything else, if we have a really, really good foundation for life, right, then no matter what storms might come our way, if we have the right foundation, then we can rebuild, right? So for life in general, really understanding the different types of life insurance and how it can help us when that storm comes, whether is it someone passing away, whether it's someone getting injured, whether someone needing long-term care, whether it's someone having any kind of disabilities, really truly having the proper insurance for that, it's key, because if something like that happens in life, then having the proper foundation, it will really allow us to rebuild and move forward. Even with your car insurance, for example, if you think about it, we don't get car insurance, you guys, on an off chance that we never get an accident, right? We get car insurance on an off chance that if we get in an accident, we have a proper plan how to address it, and then we're not going to make this problem that had happened even bigger by not having the right insurance. It's going to help us deal with that problem and not allow it to go over and flow over and get bigger. So proper protection for life is really having the right type of policies and life insurance for you, in order to make sure that it will mitigate risk for your future problems or future emergencies or future disasters or sicknesses or illnesses or death that might occur in life. Build wealth is super important. This is addressing the future, right? More importantly, how do we save for retirement? And saving is just one side of the equation. The other thing is, how do we invest this money properly and over time, and how do we grow the money? And then the final step is preserving the wealth, understanding taxation and how is it going to impact your wealth that you have built over time for retirement. It's super important. So these are the 6 steps to financial security, you guys. Again, to summarize, it is understanding your cash flow, the goal being increasing cash flow always. Debt management, the goal being is reduce and eliminate your debt. Emergency fund, the goal being is build. The key word is build an emergency fund. Proper protection, build wealth for future, for retirement, for college savings, etc. And then ultimately preserve wealth. Hope that helped you guys today. So have a happy Monday. Have a fantastic week. Thank you, and I'll see you guys Wednesday.